Orphan is a 2009 psychological horror film directed by Jaume Calais Serra and written by David Leslie Johnson. The movie begins with a woman named Kate who is dreaming. In her dream, she is expecting a baby, and when she visits a hospital, she sees blood everywhere. She cries loudly as she realizes she gave birth to a stillborn baby. But Kate lost her third baby in the same way, and she took medicine to forget about it. She even goes to counseling because she wants to be a good mother to her 2 kids. She tells her husband, John Coleman, that she wants to adopt a baby. They then go to an orphanage, where they meet orphan children. They meet a 9-year-old girl named Esther, and after talking to her, they decide to adopt her. When they go to the head of the orphanage, whose name is Sister Abigail, and they ask about Esther, she tells them Esther is a mature girl. She further tells them that Esther lost her parents in a road accident. As they bring Esther home, their deaf daughter named Max happily embraces her, but their son, Daniel, is less welcoming. One night, when Kate and John are making out in their bedroom, Esther goes to their room and says she feels uncomfortable while sleeping. They tell her to sleep with them in their bedroom. One day, while Daniel is aiming at a target in the forest, he mistakenly shoots a pigeon that gets injured and falls off the shaft. Before he can go to the pigeon, Esther and Max come there. Esther takes a stone and kills that pigeon. The next day, when Esther goes to school, a girl bullies her, and when the girl touches the bracelet Esther is wearing around her neck, she shouts insanely in the classroom. After Esther returns home, Kate shows her the grave of her third child, and she breaks into tears. That day, while Kate and John are romancing in the kitchen, Esther sees them, and they feel embarrassed. The next day, as Kate prepares to tell her about the previous day's incident, she is taken aback to learn that Esther knows more about sex than someone twice her age. Kate tells John about Esther, and he presumes Esther might have learned all that from her last foster parents. Later, John takes Max and Esther to a park, and there Esther sees her classmate who has bullied her. Esther pushes her down the swing, breaking her ankle. At the dinner table, when John asks Esther about the incident in the park, she lies to him by saying the girl's feet slipped and she fell off the swing. Daniel misbehaves with Esther at the dinner table, and when John and Kate tell him to apologize to Esther, he leaves the dinner angrily. Sister Abigail makes a call to Kate to inquire about Esther, and when Kate tells her about the strange behavior of Esther, she comes home the next day. She regrets sending Esther with them the next day when she arrives at their house because she knows nothing about her past. She also informs them that whenever something bad happens in the orphanage, Esther is present in some way. Kate gets anxious, but John does believe in Sister Abigail. Esther is hearing all the discourse between Sister Abigail and her foster parents and convinces Max to come with her to John's study room. She took the keys to the tree that John had hidden from Daniel, as well as a pistol, from there. When Sister Abigail leaves the house, Esther takes Max to the road, where Sister Abigail has to pass. As she sees her on the road driving her car, Esther pushes Max onto the road in front of Sister Abigail's car. She tactfully handled her car while saving Max. When Sister Abigail gets out of her car to check on Max, Esther attacks her from behind with a hammer and mercilessly kills her. She then convinces Max not to tell anyone about the incident and takes her to the tree house, where she hides the weapon and removes blood from her face. While Max and Esther are climbing down the tree house, Daniel sees them and tries to hide from them, but Esther sees her from the corner of her eye. At night, she stealthily enters Daniel's room and threatens her with a knife, saying he should not tell their parents about this. The next day, Kate takes Esther to a counselor, where Esther easily manipulates the counselor. The counselor, Kate, is unable to give a comfortable environment to Esther, and that's the reason she is behaving strangely. As they arrive home, Kate receives a phone call from the orphanage saying Sister Abigail has been missing since she left their home. The police start investigating, and they find the dead body of Sister Abigail on the outskirts, which puts Kate under more suspicion. She then convinces John to inquire about her background as Esther. She makes a phone call to Sister Abigail's orphanage, and to her amazement, she learns that there is no record of Esther in the Russian orphanage. While Kate is washing dishes in the kitchen, Esther comes over and gives her a bouquet of white flowers, which Kate has placed at her third child's grave. Kate becomes enraged and clutches Esther's arm. In the meantime, John arrives and calms Kate down. Esther intentionally injures her arm that night and makes Kate pretend she did so, making John despise Kate. The next day, Kate drops the children off at school, and she sees books falling from Daniel's bag while he is heading towards the school. While she goes to give him books, Esther starts the car while Max is still sitting inside. Seeing the car going downhill, Kate rushes after it, and luckily the car hits a snow dune, leaving Max unharmed. At home, When John learns Kate brought alcohol, he calls the counselor and tells her to go to a rehabilitation center. Daniel stealthily goes to Max's room, and she lets Daniel know about Esther's wrongdoings through her paintings because she is still too small to speak. While Daniel is telling Max that he will bring proof from the treehouse and show it to his parents, Esther is listening to them standing by the door. Kate goes to Esther's room, and she finds a book there in which she sees some pictures of male adults. In the books, she sees the name of an institute, and when she searches about the institute, she comes to know that this institute is a mental hospital and not an orphanage. Daniel, on the other hand, climbs up the treehouse to collect evidence against Esther, but in the meantime, Esther too comes there, and she burns the evidence while setting the treehouse on fire. She traps Daniel in a burning treehouse and climbs down. Daniel somehow manages to get to the roof of the treehouse, but due to rising flames, he cannot survive there and jumps off the treehouse, losing consciousness. Max pushes her aside before she can hit him with a stone, and Kate arrives at the same time, seeing the flames of fire in the house. Kate takes Daniel to the hospital, and when he is out of danger, she reveals Esther's reality to John, but he does not believe her. In the hospital, Esther enters the room where Daniel is sleeping, and she tries to kill him, but the doctors save his life. Kate runs towards her and slaps her in the face in front of people. While John takes up Esther, a nurse hurriedly injects an anesthetic drug into Kate's body, making her unconscious. When Kate is still at the hospital, John takes Max and Esther home, and he drinks alcohol. Esther, with her improper dressing, tries to seduce John, but he tells her he looks upon her as her daughter. In the hospital, Kate receives a phone call from a Russian mental hospital, and Dr. Varava reveals the hidden truth about Esther, and she is taken aback. The doctor tells Kate that Esther's real name is Lena, and she is a 33-year-old grown lady. Esther has hypopituitarism, which is a rare hormonal disorder that stunted her physical growth, and she has posed throughout her life as a little girl. He further tells her that Esther was the most dangerous patient in their hospital, having killed 7 people, including her last foster family. The doctor tells Kate to inform the police immediately. In another scene, we see Esther turning into her actual character. John goes to Esther's room, and astonishingly, he finds sexual poses in her paintings. Later, when he is going to take his phone, she stabs him to death while Max is seeing all this. After Kate reaches home, she finds John laying dead on the floor. Esther shoots Kate and injures her while she is going to find her daughter Max. Kate reaches for the greenhouse, and she tells Max to hide while sitting on the rooftop. In the meantime, the police arrive, and when Kate is running away along with Max, Esther attacks her with a knife. Although Max shoots Esther, bullets do not hit her, and both Esther and Kate slip into the freezing water as the ice breaks. Somehow, Kate manages to come out of the water, and she runs towards her daughter Max. The movie ends there.